do you do? Our next lecture on the topic General Characteristics of Subphylum Cephalorhynchidae, External and Internal Organization of the Lancelet by discipline Vertebrate Zoology. Lecturer is Biology Master Kabataeva Ж.К. Purpose of lecture to familiarize students with the morphological and biological characteristics, distribution, taxonomy of subphylum Cephalorhynchidae, class Leptocardi. We will consider next questions. First, general characteristics and external structure of subphylum Cephalorhynchidae. The myohordal complex and nervous system of the lancelet, the internal structure of the lancelet, reproduction and development of the lancelet. By the first question, Cephalorhynchidae are small fish-like marine chordates. The persistent notochord extends forward beyond the brain, hence these are called Cephalorhynchidae. The epidermis is single-layered. Paired fins are absent. Muscles, nephridia, and gonads are segmentally arranged. The pharynx is large with numerous gills. It is a filter feeder. Examples: lancelet or Amphioxus. In this slide, you can see scientific classification or taxonomy position of subphylum Cephalorhynchidae or class Leptocardi. Class Leptocardi comprises about 30 species of fish-like animals that inhabit tropical and temperate sea coasts. We will describe this class on the example lancelets. Lancelets burrows in clean shifting sand of shallow shore waters, leaving only its anterior and protruding. At times it emerges to swim by rapid lateral movements of the body. The size of this animal is small, up to 8 centimeters. The body is slender, elongate, and laterally compressed, pointed at both ends, and has no distinct head. In the next slide, we can see external and internal structure of lancelets. The low median dorsal fin along most of the body, and the preanal fin, also called as ventral fin, from arthropod to inius, are made of fin-rayed chambers containing short fin rays of connective tissue. The tail has a membranous fin. Anterior to the ventral fin, the body is flattened ventrally with a metapleural fold along each side. The mouth is ventral at the anterior end. The inius is on the left side near the base of the tail fin, and the arthropod is an additional ventral opening forward of the inius. The body covering is a single layer of soft epithelium in which some cells bear a sensory process. Beneath this is a soft connective tissue, called as corium. The notochord is the chief support of the body. It is a slender rod of tall cells containing gelatinous material, and is surrounded by a continuous sheet of connective tissue. Other supportive structures include a circular cartilage-like reinforcement in the oral foot, the fin rays, and delicate rods with cross connections in the gill bars. Along each side of the body and tail, different species have from 50 to 85 muscles, or meatoms. Each of lengthwise muscle fibers and separated from one another by thin septa of connective tissue. These muscles contract to produce the lateral bending for burrowing and swimming. Transverse muscles in the floor of the atrial cavity between the metaprolar folds serve to compress the cavity and force water to the exterior. The nervous system lies above the notochord. It consists of a single dorsal nerve cord with a small central canal. The anterior end is slightly enlarged to form a medium cerebral vesicle with a mid-dorsal olfactory pit, a small non-sensory air spot of black pigment, and two pairs of cranial nerves. The cord gives off to each meatum alternately a pair of nerves, the dorsal root being both sensory and motor, the ventral only motor in function. In the skin and the mouth region are ciliated cells thought to be sensory in function. The stride and the simple digestive tract begins with the anterior oral hood, or vestibule, which is surrounded by about 22 delicate, fleshy buccal cirri. Behind the latter are several ciliated bars. The mouth proper is a circular opening in a membrane, or velum, posterior in the oral hood. It is guarded by 12 velar tentacles, which exclude large particles. Cilia in the hood during life producing a rotating effect and called the wheel organ. On the cirri and tentacles and within the hood are sensory structures. Behind the mouth is a large compressed pharynx with many diagonal gill slits at the sides. There follows the narrow, straight intestine, which ends at the inus. A slender, sac-like liver thought to secrete digestive fluid, attaches ventrally to the anterior part of the intestine. The pharynx is suspended dorsally beneath the notochord, but hangs free in the cavity, the atrium, within the muscles of the body wall. The atrium is an external cavity lined by ectoderm, hence noted coelom, and connects to the atrial pore. The pharynx contains a mid-dorsal furrow, the hyperbrachial groove, lined with ciliated cells, and mid-ventrally is a corresponding groove, the endostyle having both ciliated and gland cells. Water-containing minute organisms is drawn into the mouth by action of the cilia. The food is trapped by mucus in the endostyle and carried posteriorly to the intestine, while the water passes between the gill bars to the atrium and sends to the exterior through the atrial pore. Respiration results from passage of water-containing oxygen from the pharynx through 100 or more gill slits on each side and past the gill bars that contain blood vessels. The excretory system comprises about 100 pairs of small ciliated nephridia in dorsal relics of the coelom above the pharynx. They connect the coelom to the atrial cavity and show some structural resemblance to the nephridia of certain annelid worms. A pair of large structures, the brown bodies, dorsal to the intestine, may also be excretory in function. The circulatory system of lancelet is closed. It consists of two vessels, the ventral and dorsal. Heart is missing. Its function is performed by the cuvette channels due to the pulsation of which blood circulation takes place. Reproduction and development of the lancelet. The sexes are separate. About 25 pairs of gonads in 2 rows bulge into the atrium. Eggs and sperm break into the atrial cavity to pass out through the atrial pore, and fertilization is external. The egg is about 0.1 millimeters in diameter with little yolk, and segmentation is holoblastic. During the breeding season, egg deposition usually occurs about sunset, and by morning, a free-swimming ciliated larva is hatched. This feeds and grows for up to 3 months, gradually assuming the adult form and then takes to burrowing in the sand. The structure of the lancelet have shown that this organism is an onset chordate. From it all vertebrates originate.